Narcissist is a term often used because they're everywhere. Maybe it's your boss or your mother-in-law, wife, husband, or best friends. My name is Yari Ayola Scott, and as a therapist and relationship coach, I've counseled hundreds of survivors, people who've been verbally and emotionally abused. My mission is to help raise awareness, help you heal from past trauma, have great relationships, and step confidently into the next level of your life. Each week, one episode will air featuring therapeutic advice, live coaching, and tips showing you exactly how to improve your relationships. You deserve to feel empowered, secure, and loved. So, if you're dealing with a narcissist, or you want to learn how to spot and avoid the narcissistic trap, this podcast is for you. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Freedom from the Narcissistic Trap. I hope everyone is having a good week, and I can't believe this is episode 4. I am so grateful for the support that I am receiving, all of the listeners. But this show would not be possible if it wasn't for the writers writing in. So thank you so much. And of course, my name is Yari Scott. I'm a licensed professional therapist and relationship coach. And I want to express again my gratitude for each of you tuning in. Your support means the world to me. Each week, as you know, we dive into people's different situations, and everyone's situation is different, and this is a non-judgmental place and space, and together we're here to navigate through the challenges. I offer therapeutic advice and tips and strategies to help them find their way out of the narcissistic trap. In this journey of healing and self-discovery, it's all about empowerment. I want you to understand that all names have been changed to maintain the confidentiality. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge the courage that this writer took to open up and share her experiences with us. It's not easy, and her vulnerability allows us to create a space where we can heal from abuse and learn to rebuild our lives. So this letter today is particularly challenging. And again, I want to remind everyone that your stories are not just letters. They are a catalyst for change and growth. So without further ado, let's dive in today's letter and explore how we can offer support and guidance. I want you to remember that you're not alone and that this podcast is here to help you break free from the narcissistic trap. The letter reads, I hope this message finds you well. I've been listening to your Instagram posts and reels for a while, and when I found out that you had a podcast, I wanted to write in. I think that you might be someone who can help me make sense of this chaos in my life right now. I've been in a toxic relationship with someone I believe to be a covert narcissist for a year and a half, and it's been over a month since I've heard from him. We got into an argument. I found out he was flirting with a girl on social media. This is nothing new. He's cheated on me before. And I don't believe it's anything warranted to him ignoring my calls. At first, I was worried about him, so I reached out to his family and friends. But when I saw him post on social media, I knew he was fine. He blocked me from all accounts. I went to his job, but they told me that he didn't want to see me. Now, this is not unusual in the drama of our relationship, but what's unusual is that he has blocked me this long and that I feel intense obsession that's driving me crazy. Day in and day out, he is all I can think about. He's constantly on my mind. I'm having thoughts of having conversations with him, replaying what I want to tell him. I go from mad to sad to depressed to anxious. All the thoughts are swirling around in my head. It's intense insanity, and I know that I need to move on from him, but I can't. I have a constant loop of questions and emotions and pain. We've had our ups and downs in the relationship, But overall, I can admit the bad outweighs the good. Everyone who loves me and cares for me tells me that I need to leave him alone. I've been through everything imaginable. He's cheated, he's lied, all the classic signs of a narcissist. Is it weird that I'm constantly worried about where he is, who he's with, and if he's thinking about me? Some of the internal dialogue that I'm having is, did he forget about me? Should I call him again? Maybe I can't live without him. Why doesn't he understand what I'm going through? I hate him. I love him. I'm angry. I'm sad. It's just a whirlwind of emotions. It's like my brain is in overdrive, fueled by this trauma. I'm caught in this cycle of obsession and it's tearing me apart. I don't feel like I'm going to harm myself. I don't feel suicidal, but I just want to know, why did he discard me like this? I'm reaching out anonymously because I feel like I'm going to lose my grip on reality. I know I should have been the one that leave him, but he left me. I need your advice on how to break free from this cycle of obsession and pain. If you could share some insight on your podcast or offer any guidance, it would mean the world to me. Thank you for your support. Sincerely, Struggling. To my writer, I want you to know that I see you and I hear you. And I understand that your relationship has been a roller coaster and you've had your share of twists and turns over the past year and a half. And it's tough. It's tough because you're in the midst of chaos and there were glimmers of genuine connection and happiness that kept you hanging on. But one thing I want you to know is that positive reinforcement is real. Imagine a scenario where after all the hurt, there's a moment of kindness. That's where he promised to change. And it's like he dangled a tiny ray of hope that things would get better. And you held on to that because you believed him. And that's what keeps us hooked in these relationships. The breadcrumbing, the lying, the promising to change, the tears, the crying. So before you know it, years have passed by and you're in the same predicament that you were when you saw the first red flag. I am also seeing that there might be a potential trauma bond here. The intense feelings that you are having where you can't think about anything but him, where you feel like you're going crazy, that you're having like emotional withdrawals, kind of like there's a chemical dependency. That's what made me think that there might be a trauma bond. I don't know if you shared some deep emotional trauma with him and he shared it with you. And from that, you all kind of formed this trauma bond or this dependency on each other. But in a nutshell, what it is it is a connection that you have formed with him. And it's not just about the pain, but it's also seeking comfort from the same source that's causing you hurt. It's tricky and it messes with your head and it makes it very hard to cut ties. Once a trauma bond kicks in, it's like a deep emotional connection and your brain goes into survival mode trying to deal with the stress. So even if the relationship is not great, your brain kind of goes into like, I can't live without this person. The ups and downs play a big role in it. So he might do things to intentionally be sweet and loving, and then there's drama and conflict out of nowhere. This sounds very familiar to the cycle that you're dealing with now. And it makes it very hard for you to decipher between what's real, what's right, what's wrong. I wonder if isolation is another factor. I want to know, is he keeping you away from your friends and your family so that you rely on him for your emotional support? It's likely that he's become your main connection, and that's why he's the center of your world. And this is not healthy. He also, if you have described a narcissist, like I believe you have, the manipulation and the gaslighting has also made you kind of confused and doubt your own feelings as reality. But I want you to know that what you're feeling is real. And I am so glad that you outlined in the letter that you are not feeling suicidal or hopeless, because if you are, the first thing I would say is immediately you have to seek help. You have to seek professional help. But because you said that you are not feeling that way, it just feels like your world is crashing down. Then this crisis that you're going through, I know that you will survive. It's bad and it's intense now, but this trauma bond has made your brain hold on to the person, and it's realizing that getting out is going to be a little bit more difficult for you. Okay, let's dive into some practical steps to break free from this trauma bond. First, and I love that you're reaching out for help, that you're utilizing your resources, because my first tip is to educate yourself. You have to continue to know what is going on, to open yourself up to accepting people for who they are. And knowledge helps us to do that. Knowledge is your armor. The more that you learn about trauma bonding, about any childhood attachment traumas, about narcissism, the clearer things become. Now, let's talk about hitting the pause button. Take a break from the intense self work that you've been doing, and you know, because sometimes we get caught up in trying to fix ourselves, and we've been told for so long that we are the problem, and so we go into, I'm broken. But I want you to take a break from that, and I want you to breathe and really evaluate your circumstances. Sometimes we have expectations for people that they cannot live up to, and especially if you've described a narcissist, just realizing that this has been a very toxic relationship and that it has caused a lot of emotional damage. And after you get clarity, I want you to ask yourself, why am I holding on to this relationship? Like, if I have to look at the pros versus the cons definitely outweigh the pros. Recognize that the negative behavior was abuse. It is definitely a hard pill to swallow, to accept that you have been in an abusive relationship and that the person that you are in love with is not going to be able to provide you what you need. But this reality check is going to put you one step further in your healing process. And then after that, you'll be able to go a little bit deeper. You'll be able to recognize the toxic behaviors, dive into how your abuser used and manipulated you, and then you're able to start decompressing. I want you to journal and document the conflicts. I want you to see a pattern, because looking to our past helps us not to make the same mistakes over and over again. Think back to the very beginning. What were the red flags? What were some of the things that you saw but you overlooked because maybe he was love bombing, or maybe there was a bit of infatuation? But I really want you to kind of do a timeline of abuse. And I want you to see how these patterns evolved into this toxic trauma bond. This is going to help you from repeating the same behavior again. We've got to let go of the magical thinking, clinging to what is. We don't date potential. We have to look at what's in front of us and realize that this is reality. Some of us stay in relationships too long because we're looking at what it was like or what it could be. That is magical thinking. Break free from the fantasy. And remember, it's not all or nothing. Breaking a trauma bond is a journey, not a sprint. Take small steps, gain your strength, rebuild your community. Last but not least, and I'm so happy that mental health is no longer a taboo topic. If you feel like you can't do this alone and you want help, I am offering some free webinars coming up. I offer one-on-one coaching, group counseling. Seek help. And if it's not for me, find someone who you trust, who you can really dive into and start to process and uncover the trauma that you've been through. A support group is your tribe. You're not alone, and there are others, many other people who are in similar situations. I want you to know that you will absolutely get through this. You will get through this. You are strong and you're a survivor, and you have given so much time and energy and love and patience and commitment to this relationship. It is time to focus back on you. I want you to remember that this is not the end. There will be love after this. This relationship has run its course, and it's time to say goodbye. And the grieving process is painful. I'm not going to lie to you. You know, the beginning of the grieving process is the hardest. But once you go no contact and you stick to it, and you have a tribe of people around you who are supporting you, the days will go by and you'll realize, I'm doing it. I'm doing it without this person, and I feel better. I feel better internally. And so I just want you to remember that, you know, it's not easy. And that is exactly why I've started this podcast, because I just get so many letters, so many clients who are struggling with the same thing. And I want to build a community where we can really support each other. So guys, that's a wrap. We've covered some vital steps today in helping this writer reclaim her power. Knowledge is your ally. Educate yourself. Again, don't forget to pause, and take a breath, take a moment to evaluate, see the bigger picture, reevaluate what you want, and try to look for patterns so that you don't repeat this same process again. Before we wrap, I want to extend a warm invitation for everyone to visit my website and Instagram page to sign up for exclusive membership, for member-only resources. We're building a community and we want you to be a part of it. A massive thank you to our courageous writer. And I want to tell you that if you have a similar story or you have a situation, and it doesn't have to be about a narcissist, and it doesn't have to be about a romantic relationship. Listen, we have narcissists that we work with. We have best friends who are narcissists. We have parents, uncles, siblings who are narcissists. So if you have a situation that you need help with, then you can bring it to this platform and we will definitely dive into it. As we journey through breaking free, remember these words: healing comes in waves, and maybe today the wave is the hardest, but tomorrow will be beautiful. Take care of yourselves, beautiful souls. Until next time, stay strong, stay true, and keep breaking free. Thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Come follow me over on Instagram and join my free Survivor Facebook group. But most importantly, share this episode. Each and every person who learns about narcissism has an opportunity to avoid the trap. So until next time, I'm wishing you high self-worth and great relationships. Thanks for being a part of this community.